For 15 days, investigators have been hunting a ghost. They have scoured the desert floor, sifted through thousands of tons of digital data, and chased leads that seemed to vanish into the Arizona heat. But today, on day 15 of the search for Nancy Guthrie, the ghost may have finally left a fingerprint. Or more accurately, he may have left a glove. Authorities have just confirmed a massive forensic breakthrough that changes the entire trajectory of this investigation. In a landscape littered with false leads and discarded trash, search teams have recovered a single glove containing an unknown male DNA profile. And this isn't just any piece of roadside debris. The FBI has stated that this specific glove appears to match the tactical gloves worn by the masked man seen in the terrified doorbell footage recovered from Nancy's home. This is the moment the family has been praying for, and the moment the kidnapper likely feared most. But alongside this hope comes a chaotic reality. Investigators didn't just find one glove. They found 16. And while 15 of them were likely tossed aside by searchers or random passers-by, one is different. One tells a story. And right now that story is being decoded in a private lab in Florida, while a person of interest connected to a gray Range Rover walks free after being questioned by the FBI. There are no handcuffs yet. There is no Nancy. But for the first time in 2 weeks, there is biology. There is a genetic code that could unmask the man behind the Ozark Trail backpack. This is the Nancy Guthrie case, day 15. And the net is finally tightening. To understand why today's update is so critical, you have to understand the needle in a haystack operation that has been happening in the Catalina foothills. Since the FBI released that chilling, grainy footage of the masked suspect on February 11th, footage pulled from the deep back end of Google servers, the public has been looking for a man in a mask. But forensic teams have been looking for what he left behind. We now know that investigators have collected approximately 16 gloves from the areas surrounding Nancy's home. In a massive search operation involving hundreds of volunteers and law enforcement officers, contamination is a nightmare. Searchers wear gloves. They discard them. Trash blows across the desert. For days, rumors swirled that gloves were found, but no one knew if they were relevant. Today, the FBI silenced those rumors with clarity. An FBI spokesperson confirmed to Fox News Digital that while most of those 16 gloves were likely discarded by search personnel, one glove stood out. It was found in a field near the side of a road, roughly 2 miles from the Guthrie residence. This glove is distinct. It visually aligns with the glove seen on the hands of the abductor in the doorbell video. But visual matches are circumstantial. What makes this discovery explosive is what was found inside or on that glove. The FBI has confirmed the recovery of an unknown male DNA profile from this specific piece of evidence. This is the smoking gun of forensic science. If this glove was worn by the man who walked up to Nancy's door at 1:47 a.m. on February 1st, his sweat, his skin cells, his genetic identity are now in the hands of the FBI. The item was rushed overnight on Thursday to a private laboratory in Florida. Preliminary results were received by the FBI on Saturday, February 14th. However, as of this recording, the Bureau is waiting for one final step: quality control and official confirmation. They cannot upload this profile to CODIS, the combined DNA index system, until that final check is complete. This process typically takes about 24 hours from the receipt of the data. That means we are currently in the holding breath phase. If that unknown male profile hits a match in the national database, we could have a name within hours. If it doesn't, it still provides a genetic blueprint that can be used for familial DNA searching or to rule out suspects, including the persons of interest who have already been detained and released. And speaking of persons of interest, the activity in Tucson has shifted from the desert floor to the city streets. While the lab in Florida was processing that glove, a dramatic scene unfolded in a parking lot just 2 miles from Nancy's home. Late Friday night, FBI agents and Pima County Sheriff's deputies swarmed a Culver's restaurant parking lot. Their target was a gray Range Rover. Witnesses watched as federal agents surrounded the high-end SUV. They didn't just look through the windows. They erected a thin sheet around the rear of the vehicle to shield their work from the public and the press. They photographed the interior. They sealed the trunk with evidence tape. And then, they had it towed away. But they didn't just take the car. They took the driver. Authorities have confirmed that a person of interest connected to this vehicle was detained and questioned. For hours, speculation ran wild that this was the one, the man in the mask, the driver of the getaway car. But then, the anticlimax that has become all too familiar in this case. He was released. Pima County Sheriff Chris Nanos was careful with his words. He stated that while the person was released, no one has been eliminated. This is a crucial distinction in law enforcement language. Released does not mean cleared. It means they likely do not yet have enough probable cause to hold him on kidnapping charges. Perhaps they are waiting for that DNA results from Florida to come back. If the DNA from the glove matches the DNA of the man from the Range Rover, that release will turn into an arrest very quickly. This wasn't the only detention. Earlier in the week, another individual was stopped in Rio Rico, just miles from the Mexican border, questioned, and released. The pattern suggests investigators are casting a wide net, aggressively pursuing leads but lacking the definitive physical link to tie anyone to Nancy's abduction. Until now. That glove could be the link that snaps the handcuffs shut. Why is the identity of this unknown male so terrifying? Because every day that passes without a name supports the chilling theory that this was a professional, targeted extraction potentially involving actors who are prepared to cross borders. Remember the warning hidden in the ransom communications reported earlier. Be prepared to go international. If the DNA profile recovered from the glove belongs to a foreign national, a cartel associate, or a professional fixer from outside the United States, he may not be in CODIS. The FBI's national database is only as good as the criminals already in it. However, even an international suspect leaves a trail. If the profile doesn't hit in CODIS, investigators can work with Interpol or use forensic genealogy to build a family tree. The discovery of the glove means the suspect is no longer a ghost. He is a biological reality. He has parents. He has relatives. And now, the FBI has his code. Sheriff Nanos has admitted that the lab results could take anywhere from 1 to 10 days depending on the priority. But given the high profile of this case, the involvement of a national news anchor's mother and the FBI's heavy hand, you can bet that glove is priority number 1. The confusion regarding the 16 gloves is worth clarifying, because it highlights the difficulty of this search. When you have hundreds of searchers combing through brush, cactus, and desert washes, debris accumulates. Sheriff Nanos explained that detectives prioritized certain submissions. A glove found 10 miles away is less interesting than a glove found 2 miles away on a direct route from the home. The FBI spokesperson clarified that the glove with the DNA was found approximately 2 miles from the Guthrie residence. This proximity is key. It's far enough to be discarded during a getaway, but close enough to be tied to the immediate aftermath of the abduction. The visual match to the video is critical. In the infrared footage, the suspect's gloves appeared to be nitrile gloves worn under or over another pair, or perhaps a specific tactical brand. If the recovered glove shares those unique layering characteristics or brand markings, the case against the owner becomes overwhelming. As the science advances in the lab, the digital dragnet on the ground is expanding. Authorities are still pleading with the public. They are specifically asking neighbors within a 2-mile radius of Nancy's home to review and submit surveillance footage. But notice the date range they are asking for. January 1st to February 2nd. They aren't just looking for the night of the kidnapping anymore. They are looking for the surveillance of the surveillance. They believe the suspect scouted the home. They believe he watched Nancy. They are looking for a gray Range Rover, or a suspicious sedan, or a lone male walking the neighborhood weeks before he struck. This request suggests investigators believe this was a calculated long-term plan, not a random crime of opportunity. The suspect knew when to strike. He knew about the cameras. He knew about the medical vulnerability. Today is day 15. Nancy Guthrie has been without her heart medication for over 2 weeks. The medical reality is grim, but the investigative momentum is higher than it has ever been. For 2 weeks, we had grainy video and silence. Today, we have a glove. We have DNA. We have a vehicle of interest. And we have a person of interest who, while free for now, is undoubtedly being watched very, very closely. The FBI is awaiting that final official confirmation before the next step. That step involves the CODIS database. When that upload happens, the computer will spin. And if it stops on a name, the unknown male will finally have a face. We are standing on the edge of the biggest break in this case. If you are in the Tucson area, specifically within 2 miles of the Catalina foothills, check your footage from January 1st to February 2nd. If you saw a gray Range Rover, a discarded glove, or anything out of place, contact the FBI immediately. The ghost has left a trace. Now, it's just a matter of time before the lab in Florida gives the FBI the name they need to bring Nancy home. If you have information, call 1 800 call FBI. Online, tips.fbi.gov. Stay tuned. The moment those DNA results are confirmed, we will be back. This investigation is moving fast, and the answers are getting closer.